Hi first grade, welcome back to lesson 8 math today. So what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to be first what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick review and then we'll get into our lesson 8. But first, remember yesterday we reviewed that our little hand, our itty bitty hand equals our hour hand, and we know that means our hours and how many hour or what hour it is. And then we know how our big hand, our blue hand, is our minute hand. It tells us what the minute is of the clock, or what the time is in the minutes, okay? But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning how to read a digital clock. So you can find digital clocks really anywhere. They're all over, more than analog clocks. Remember, our analog clock is a clock like this, just like the one that we have in our classroom. And a digital clock is like an Apple Watch that tells you what time it is. So it's able to kind of help you just to see what time exactly it is. So digital clocks are a lot easier to read than analog clocks, but you're going to find that in most of your classrooms you're going to have a clock like this. You might even have a clock like this at your home, and if you do, maybe go try and see what time it is on it. Remember our clock that we have in our math meeting in the morning, our telling time with our little mice on it? That is also an analog clock, and the digital clock would be like the time on your computer, your watch, the one in your car, on the radio, on your alarm clock, anything like that, on your phone. So now that we remember, we're a little bit refreshed, and we now know what a digital clock looks like, we're going to go ahead and get started on our math worksheet to see how we can do this. This one I feel like is going to be a little bit easier than yesterday because we're just telling time, and you are all so amazing at telling time already. So the first thing that we need to do before we even get started, I didn't do it at first yesterday, we need to put our name on the top of our paper, our name and number. And you're going to want to make sure that you're writing it nice and neat. Miss Martin isn't here to check all of your nice handwritings, but I'm sure that you are all writing super neat so that when you bring me the work, I can make sure that it's nice and neat and I can read it. Okay, so here's our little problem that we have here. Let me move Ziggy down so he can show you a little bit better. So Tyler's football practice ends at 4:30. They want us to use this clock right here to show that time, and then they want us to write the time on the digital clock. So if you remember yesterday when we were doing half past, remember I say, you say, half past is 30 minutes. And remember that is this 30 minutes right here? It sure looks like 30 minutes, doesn't it? So that must mean it's half past, okay? But they want us to tell the time on this clock, and then they want us to write it on this one. So you don't have one of these, but I have one. So I want you to help me to be able to put the clock or put the time on here. So he says that Tyler's football practice gets done at 4:30. So I know that my minute hand, which is my blue hand, needs to be at 30 because I know in my brain, I turn my brain on, say, brain up there, are you awake? And she says, yes, I'm awake, let's go. So I know that my minute hand is pointing at 30 because half past equals 30 minutes. Okay, now my red hand is my hour hand, and it says that Tyler's practice gets done at 4:30. So am I going to put it here? No, silly Miss Martin. Is this 4? No. What about here? Is this 4? No. What about here? Well, not quite there. What about there? No, because that's what? That's 5, right? So remember, when I want to do my half past, it needs to be in between my 4 and my 5 because it's in the middle. Half past is in the middle. It's in the middle of the whole circle pointing down, so we need to make sure that we're in the middle between our 4 and our 5. So this is what 4:30 or 4:30 looks like on our analog clock. What does it look like on our digital clock? So if I'm looking at my phone and I need to see that it needs to be 4:30, what am I going to write right here? Because remember, I'm going to put this down here on mine. Half past equals 30 minutes. I'm going to put MIN for an abbreviation. Half past equals 30 minutes. Okay, so I need you, if this is 30 minutes right here and it's 4:30, what hour am I going to put here? Am I going to put 5 here? No, I'm going to put 4 here. So we're going to put 4 right there. Your paper should look just like mine right now. You should have 1/2 written right here, and you should have 4:30 right there. And your name should be at the top. Okay. So once you have that, we're going to go ahead and flip over to the next page. I'll leave it just like this for a minute. If you need to, go ahead and you can pause the video and it'll stay up there so you'll be able to see it still. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. So let's look at what they have to tell us up here in this little box right here. So a digital clock can also show time to the 1/2 hour. So our analog clock, we remember, this is our analog clock, or this one right here, or the one in our classroom. This is our analog clock. And a digital clock is just like this. Your watch, your phone, your car, your radio, your alarm clock, anything like that is a digital clock. And they can also show us time to the 1/2 an hour. So remember, like we just had back there, 1/2 equals 30 minutes. So both of the clocks show 6:30 or 6:30. So they show 6:30. It means, or you can write 6:30 because they're the same thing. So 6:30 and 6:30. Okay, so now we're going to move down to number 1, and they want us to work through, oh, that one got a little bit rough. You can't see it really. They want us to tell the time on our analog clock and then write it on our digital clock. So it's, boys and girls, I'm not even kidding you. It's just like writing it how we normally would. You remember on our math page like this, how we wrote our time down here? Oh, you can't see it. How we wrote our time like this. Boys and girls, I'm not even kidding you. If you draw a box around it like this, it looks just like a digital clock. So it's just like writing it how you would normally write it. Okay, so let's do number 1 together. So I have my red hand is pointing right at in between my 1 and my 2, and my minute hand's the same. So remember that if it's pointing in between my 1 and my 2, it's gonna be what time is it? Is it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? 1:30 or 2:30? It should be, I'm waiting. It should be 1:30. So we're going to go ahead and put a 1 because we know that's our hour. And then our minute hand is pointing to the 30, and that means it's still 1/2. So it's going to be, remember, if it's pointing anywhere near the 6, if it's pointing at the 6, not anywhere near, if it's pointing at the 6, it's most likely 30. It's always going to be 30. So that's, if our minute hand is pointing at the 6, it's going to be 30, not our hour hand, minute hand. So if it's 1, minute hand's pointing at the 6, so it's going to be 1:30. 1:30. If you are understanding this, I know Miss Martin can't see you and you can't see me, but if you understand this, I want you to go ahead and give me a great big yes with your hand. You know, you can shake it out, you can do whatever. Give me a whole big yes if you completely understand this. If you don't, go ahead and give me just a little bit of like a, no, Miss Martin, not quite. But if you do, go ahead and give me a yes. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Again, I know you can't see me, but that was just fun. And I'm thinking that you are all doing them yes or no's right now. Okay, number 2. So my hour hand, my blue hand, my minute hand staying the same. So I'm going to keep it there. But my hour hand moved in between my 8 and my 9. So we're going to just like that. So, this one looks a little bit tricky. So my minutes I know is the same. So if my blue hand is pointing at my 6, I know it is 30. So I'm going to put 30 right there. But I'm having a little bit of an issue telling what hour it is. It's in between my 8 and my 9, but it's kind of closer to my 9. Is it 9:30? No, it should be 8:30. So I'm going to go ahead and put an 8 there because I know that even in between these, I know that if it's not right at my 9, I have between there from my 8 all the way up to right before my 9 for it to be 9 o'clock. Okay, so that's what it should look like right now. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over, or not flip it over, move on to number 3. Let me erase that real quick. Okay. So number 3, oh, it's kind of hard to see on mine, but it looks like it's pointing, my minute hand is still pointing to my 6, so it's still 30, and my hour hand is pointing in between my 11 and 12. So because we have been working with time and we know so much about time, I'm gonna say I'm gonna think that I think it's 12:30. Do you think it's 12:30? Do you think it's 11:30? So remember, like I just said before, that it has from this 11 right here, from the beginning of my 11 all the way to right before the 12 for it to be 11. Is it pointing in between the 12 yet? No, it's still pointing in between the 11 and the 12. So that's how I know that it's still 11. So my hour is 11. And then I say, you say, my blue hand is pointing to my 6. My blue hand is pointing to my 6. That means it must be 30. That means it must be 30. So it's 11:30. Okay, we're going to do this last one together. Then I want you to go ahead and you're going to do the rest of them on your own. But we'll go ahead and do number 4 together. Oh, Miss Martin lost her eraser. There it is. It's not really an eraser, it's just a tissue. Okay. So my minute hand is still pointing at my 6. It's going to stay the same, hasn't moved. But I am now looking at this in between my 3 and my 4. Okay, boys and girls, Miss Martin is still struggling with this. I know that needs in between those for it to be 3. It's not quite at the 4 yet, so I know that it can't be 4, but I'm still confused. I just don't know. I think if I look at it really good, it's still in between. It's not touching my 4 yet. It's not even pointing at my 4. So I think it's still going to be 3. Am I right? Is it 3:30? Yeah, it is? Okay, good. Well, I was just confused. I wanted to make sure that it was still 3:30. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 right here and then 30 right here. So that is what you need to do. That's how we write down our time and then write it on a digital clock. It's just like how we used to write it on this one. How you write it, well, you can't see that. How you write it down here like that, just the same way. Okay, now once you're done with these ones, I want you to go ahead and do, on my own, I want you to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Flip it over, 11 and 12, and I want you to do the hot problem. Okay, so again, if you are having trouble reading these, go ahead and try your best and sound it out. And then if not, you can ask someone at your house and maybe they'll be able to help you read it, okay? I miss you guys so much. I cannot wait until we can do math in our classroom again. But for now, we're just going to keep doing these videos until we get it, okay? And I will see you all tomorrow for math, or for reading actually, because we do reading in the morning. So I'll go ahead and see you guys for reading later on.